WWE promised to deliver the most stupendous WrestleMania of all time, and I truly do believe they did just that. WrestleMania 38, night one at least, is in the books, and we are going to talk all about it. We're going to review it, each match individually. I will give my overall thoughts on WrestleMania at the end. Before I get to that, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. WrestleMania 38, though, live from AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas. There were so many things going into this event that people were excited for. The potential return of Cody Rhodes, the potential of Stone Cold Steve Austin getting into a fight. Not a match, but a fight. We'll get to that later. Of course, Ronda Rousey, Becky, Lynch, Bianca, Belair, all these big names going off in these big title matches. Let's get right to it. First match on the card that opened up this pay-per-view was the Usos defending their WWE SmackDown Tag Team titles against the team of Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura, who honestly came out and had a pretty cool entrance. I love the gear that Nakamura had. Boogs did his little guitar thing. It was pretty neat. Usos came out looking dominant, representing the bloodline. Main event Jey Uso, by the way, with a freshly cut fade. Love to see it. This was an interesting match. Rick Boogs and Nakamura got in a pretty good amount of offense. Nakamura did, though, take a lot of the punishment overall in the match, which we'll get to in a minute. The biggest spot of the match, though, Rick Boogs was going for a double fireman's carry on both of the Usos, and then, unfortunately, his knee gave out and gave way. Now, originally, I thought that this was part of a story because I remember they had built up the knee and the leg problems beforehand. And it still might be, we don't know. But afterwards, it was announced in the night that Rick Boogs had suffered a quad injury and a leg injury, and he's going to have surgery. And they gave us no reason to believe that was anything but real. So, big shout out to Rick Boogs. A lot of people were wondering whether that was a botch or what have you. It was reported afterwards that the match was actually cut short. The match only went about 7 minutes, less than 7 minutes, actually. So, big shout out to Rick Boogs. He was pretty much taken out of the match at that point, which led Shinsuke Nakamura to get double-teamed, super kicked. He took a super kick that I thought knocked some of his teeth out. It was that bad. But he got double-teamed. The Usos retained in 6:55 in... Honestly, look, injury aside, obviously, I thought that this was a good way to kind of open up WrestleMania instead of having just a big, all-out kind of spot fest tag team match. They just went for a quick action-packed thing, and I like that. It was cool, quick, easy to watch, and left enough time for the main event to do their business. Moving on. Happy Corbin with Madcap Moss at his side, taking on Drew McIntyre. Now, the story of this match apparently was that Madcap Moss and Baron Corbin had been making jokes about Drew McIntyre's late mother. Not good. Not a fan of that kind of stuff. But Drew McIntyre came out with his sword in hand, grand entrance and all. Big story of this match. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was not at all looking forward to this match. I thought that this was going to be the pee break match. This was going to be the match that I was going to get up, go take a pee in. It actually wasn't this match, ironically enough. This was 8 minutes of, I think, the best match that they could have given their story, given their hype, given everything. This was by far not the best match on the card. I enjoyed this match a lot more than I did. They didn't waste a lot of time. And the big spot at the end, as Drew McIntyre misses the Claymore, Baron Corbin goes for the end of days, and he hits it. And remember, nobody up until that point had ever kicked out of the end of days. And Drew McIntyre becomes the first person to kick out of the end of days. The most protected finisher in WWE. People went crazy. Baron Corbin obviously went insane. He could not believe it. He did not know what he needed to do to put away Drew McIntyre. I honestly didn't know what he needed to do to put away Drew McIntyre. After he kicks out at the end of the days, it's pretty much over. Drew McIntyre then set him up for the 1, 2, 3 big time Claymore kick, taken off the head of Baron Corbin there. 1, 2, 3, Drew McIntyre picks up the dub. And after the match, Madcap Moss comes up to the apron as Drew McIntyre is wielding a sword. Not a smart move. And Drew McIntyre slices through the ropes and breaks the top 2 ropes. So that gave WWE time to do an elongated commercial break while they fixed the ropes, and the ring crew came out to do that. So fun match. I thought it was good. I thought, accomplished exactly what it needed to accomplish. Please let Drew move on to something way more important than this. Speaking of things way more important than this feud, the Mysterios versus Logan Paul and The Miz. Before I say anything, hear me out. If you haven't watched the pay-per-view, go watch it because Logan Paul was really good. First note, though, it was really cool to see the Mysterios come out together. You could see the adulation. You could see the emotion on the face of Ray and Dominic. They were both happy to be in this position, and it's really cool to have father and son come out together. It was really cool. And then, we saw it. I still mark out at this. Logan Paul, what an just abhorrent human being. Instead of wearing ice, instead of wearing a gold chain, this man has the audacity to bring out and wear a Pikachu card, $1 million Pikachu card around his neck, which, by the way, I just heard might not actually be worth $1 million, might be fake. Who knows? Either way, the audacity of this man. But he came out, played the heel character, great. And boy, oh boy, did Logan Paul look like a star here, man. Logan Paul, let me tell you something. We saw Bad Bunny come out and have a great match last year, had a great performance there. Then he became Super Saiyan Bad Bunny at the Royal Rumble this year. We're not going to talk about that, but Logan Paul came out and he did the Three Amigos. He did the Frog Splash mocking Rey Mysterio's tributes to Eddie Guerrero, and he was booed out of the building, but he did it all really well. And he even did it. He did the Three Amigos just like Eddie did it with that little side roll and the kick to the legs. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you've seen Eddie Guerrero do it, he did exactly like him. And I thought that was really, really cool because usually people just do I'm going to pick him up one more time. Oh, okay, yeah. But he did the roll through. It was impeccable. I thought he did very well in this match, played his character well, and he understood exactly what he needed to do. He gets it. He absolutely gets it. I know people aren't a huge fans. Trust me, I'm not a huge fan of Logan Paul either, personally. But dude gets wrestling, and you got to admit that. And after that, we saw the Mysterios try to get some fire back. In the end, Miz and Logan Paul picked up the victory, and it got booed. It got a lot of boos, but it got a reaction. That's what WrestleMania is about. Logan Paul and Miz in a fun 11-15 pick up the victory. This match was, again, I think as good as it could be. I think that's for a lot of these matches on this card, you especially the undercard matches, that's exactly what I have to say about them. They were as good as they could be, given their position, and I thought as effective as they needed to be. And that is really good when you're talking about undercard matches. We'll get to what I think about the main event, but the real story coming out of this, though, is not what happened in the match, but after the match. As they're celebrating, both of them have their arms raised, and The Miz just gives a little look over to Logan Paul and then hits him with a skull-crushing finale. Miz turned on Logan Paul. Which one's heel? Which one's face? I don't know. Actually, I do know, because the second this happened, The Miz became the biggest babyface in the entire company. The reaction he got was insane. People love The Miz after this. And I think the end goal here is eventually to do some sort of angle for a tag team match. Getting Jake and Logan Paul against The Miz and insert whoever here. Probably someone like Kevin Owens who's going to be in that spot because they probably don't want Kevin Owens in the title picture and they want to do makes him feel important, and he's good in that position, honestly. So I think my prediction is that's going to be in the works at some point, whether it's SummerSlam, WrestleMania next year, who knows. But that's going to happen at some point. But man, oh man, I hope WWE doesn't do the thing where they want to book Logan Paul as the face. He's not the face in this. Miz is the face. People are going to boo Logan Paul just because he's Logan Paul. Anyway, it's main event time. One of the main events, at least. Becky Lynch, WWE Raw Women's Champion, against Bianca Belair, a rematch from SummerSlam where Becky Lynch defeated Bianca Belair in 26 seconds. Look, the story of this match, or story coming into this match rather, wasn't anything, right? Like they referenced that she beat Bianca Belair in 26 seconds at SummerSlam. And by the way, this is where I want to point this out. WWE's WWE's promo packages rather are really great and effective at making it look like they know how to tell a story. They really are effective. Like, if you don't watch WWE week to week and you watch the promo package, you would think that WWE is the greatest thing ever and the greatest at telling stories, because those promos and how they cut them up, impeccable. Mwah. Big shout out to WWE producing there. Becky Lynch obviously came out to a big entrance. She came out with her caddy, the white caddy, an entrance befitting of big-time Bex. But Bianca Belair's entrance, honestly, for me, I thought this was the best entrance of the night. Bianca Belair came out with the marching band of Texas A&M. It was so cool to see this. Like, this is so crazy, so cool. And she came out in this red getup, looked amazing, looked like a big-time star. She is the EST, and also I think the BEST of WWE. That's what I call her. But she's awesome. Amazing entrance. Huge babyface reaction. People love this, and people honestly love this match. For me, this was my favorite match on the card. They immediately open up with the same spot they had at SummerSlam, the handshake, except Bianca Belair goes for the KOD. It was reversed by Becky Lynch into a manhandle slam, and Bianca Belair had enough wherewithal to kick out this time, avoiding a repeat of SummerSlam. So that was a nice little nod to their SummerSlam matchup. Look, these two women went out there, had a really great match. There were some things in this match that I didn't like. One of the big things I didn't like was the cameras, for whatever, because WWE has to get 18 camera cuts every like 2 seconds, right? They would cut to Becky Lynch kind of like talking to Bianca Belair, which happens in wrestling, but they were right in there, and I'm just like, come on, Kevin Dunn, you choose this time not to do a camera cut? Like, come on. I mean, you got to understand what's going on in the ring. So, like, I don't really put that on the performers as much. I put that on producers. Got to be aware of what's going on in the ring. Anyway, so Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch have this amazing match. Like, Becky Lynch is pulling Bianca's hair. Bianca's tugging it back. And, oh, my God, there was one. Becky Lynch hit a manhandle slam on Bianca Belair onto the steps on the outside, and we thought it was done. It was a 9 count, and Bianca gets up, jumps into the ring. I cannot do this match justice by talking about it. It was 19 minutes of just pure greatness. I loved it. I loved this match so much. My favorite match of the night. Becky Lynch on multiple occasions tried to get the disarmor locked in. Bianca Belair actually at one point had the disarmor. It was, yeah. Look, I'm not going to do this match justice. My favorite match of the night. Bianca Belair, at the end, when she picked up Becky Lynch for the KOD, this, outside of Steve Austin coming out later on in the night, this was the biggest reaction of the night, bar none. You could see people visibly rise out of their seats, screaming on the top of their lungs. Over as all hell is Bianca Belair. Moving forward, Bianca Belair should run Monday Night Raw as the top babyface. Becky Lynch should turn face and move over to SmackDown and become the top babyface on SmackDown. That's what they should do, because Becky Lynch, I hope after this, turns babyface, because she's a natural babyface. People want to like her. What a match this was. Bianca Belair, 2 years in a row, proves that she is, in fact, the BEST of WWE. Wins a title 2 years back-to-back in big-time matches at WrestleMania. What a win. What a well-deserved, too, for Bianca Belair after what they did to her at SummerSlam. Up next, this is the one that got the internet talking, got a lot of AEW fans mad. For everybody out there who believed that this wasn't going to happen, you worked yourself. You worked yourself. I don't know what else to tell you. You worked yourself. Don't deny it. You worked yourself. We were all wondering who or at what point were we going to get this match. Everyone knew who the mystery opponent for Seth Rollins was going to be, except for apparently Seth Rollins, who was tweeting out Marco stunt gifs and everybody else under the sun. He never thought that it was going to be the one, the only, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and they presented him when he came out to the American Nightmare Kingdom played in WWE. Wrestling has more than one royal family. Cody Rhodes made his triumphant return to WWE at WrestleMania 38. 6 years. 6 years later. I mean, this is crazy. The last WrestleMania that Cody was at was in Dallas. So it's kind of coming full circle. The man who helped start, I should say, AEW is now in WWE. Wrestling is a crazy world, and just like The Undertaker said in his speech, never say never. The story of the match was Cody Rhodes working on the left arm of Seth Rollins multiple times. Cody Rhodes worked on that arm. Seth Rollins was working mostly on the ribs of Cody Rhodes. These two had, overall, it was a great match. I do want to say this. I believe in the middle they had a lull. They had a pretty big lull because the crowd was really hot in the beginning, and the match was really hot in the beginning, and then it kind of shifted away in the middle. But the last third of this match was spectacular. Absolute greatness in the last third of this match. They hit that other gear, and I thought it was amazing. Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins were exchanging teases for the pedigree. Cody Rhodes got the absolute it kicked out of him in this match. Seth Rollins at one point does, in fact, hit the pedigree on Cody, and Cody kicks out. So it was kind of like a nod, like which one, who's because Cody's got the whole Triple H vibe going for him. But he didn't actually hit the pedigree, which was interesting in this match. Rhodes hit the crossroads, and Rollins kicks out, which people were really surprised. Maybe Seth Rollins was going to go over. No. Cody hits crossroads, roll through, crossroads, roll through, crossroads, roll through, crossroads. Hit him with multiple crossroads. 1, 2, 3. Adrenaline in his soul. Something. Cody Rhodes victorious in his return to WWE. AEW fans, wallow in self-pity. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that deep. But, wow, man, it was crazy. This was great. Great especially the last third of that match was absolutely amazing. Go watch it. No bones about it. Go watch this show. Honestly, this show was really great. I'll get to my overall thoughts at the end, like I said, but really great show. Moving on, the quote-unquote main event for the WWE SmackDown Women's World Championship. Charlotte Flair defended her title against Ronda Rousey. Rousey came out dressed up in her Piper gear. It was, this match. Okay. I have a lot of problems with this match. And it has entirely to do with booking. This match is, in my opinion, the worst booked match on this entire show, bar none. Multiple times in this matchup, Ronda Rousey had a submission on Charlotte Flair. She had the ankle lock on multiple times. She had the arm lock on multiple times. The guillotine. And every time, Charlotte Flair would find a way to get out of it. Once, twice, okay, I'll buy it. It's wrestling, right? But you're booking Ronda Rousey to be a legitimate badass. You're booking Ronda Rousey to be this unstoppable wrestling MMA machine. Believable, because she actually does MMA. She's actually very successful. She's one of the most successful MMA fighters of all time. And you have Charlotte Flair very easily get out of an ankle lock. Not even just an ankle lock, right? Where she has her upright, right? An ankle lock that's cinched in, where Ronda Rousey has her legs hooked. Charlotte Flair gets out of. Not great. Not at all great. Finish of the match, even worse. All right, even worse. Because Ronda Rousey launches Charlotte Flair. Flair accidentally spears Little Nace, the referee. And as soon as that happens, Rousey locks in the arm bar. Charlotte Flair starts tapping out, but the ref's obviously nowhere to be seen. Ronda gets the ref up, and Charlotte Flair hits Ronda with a big boot. 1, 2, 3. Charlotte Flair retains. The ending, like, I could have lived with all of the unbelievable, unbelievable in a bad way, right? Because I literally, like, no one's going to believe it. But I could have lived with the unbelievable way that Charlotte Flair kept on kept on getting out of all these moves that Ronda Rousey, who's a legitimate MMA fighter, did on her. If they didn't book the ending this way. Like a big boot. Just a kick to the face. Not even the natural selection, which Ronda Rousey kicked out of earlier. Not good. Not good. Charlotte Flair retains. The internet is mad, and so am I. Finally, send the fans home happy, they said, WWE. The KO show featuring Stone Cold Steve Austin. All right, so Kevin Owens comes out, and there's chairs set up in the ring, and Kevin Owens cuts a really great promo on Stone Cold Steve Austin and Texas. And as he's talking, Stone Cold comes out thunderous, just because it's Stone Cold. It's a thunderous response, and he comes out wearing the jorts, and he's got the knee brace on. Stone Cold came to fight. And fight he did, people. Fight he, in fact, did. We'll get to that, though. They exchange barbs here. Stone Cold just working the crowd. He proved tonight, Stone Cold Steve Austin proved tonight, that he is the most beloved and the most over wrestler of all time. Biggest wrestling star of all time. And I'm not saying that, like, biggest wrestling star, like, outside of the realm of wrestling. I'm talking about in the world of professional wrestling. There is not and likely will never be a bigger star in the world of wrestling than Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's that over. I'm not saying he's the biggest draw. I'm not saying he's the best. There is no one in wrestling more over than Stone Cold Steve Austin. And there never will be. He proved it tonight. Worked the crowd like a magician. Kevin Owens ends up saying, Steve, I didn't call you out here to talk. I called you out here to challenge you to a WrestleMania match. Tonight. No holds barred. Stone Cold ponders. Stone Cold thinks about it. And Stone Cold said, if you want Stone Cold Steve Austin to wrestle a match against WrestleMania and kick the out of Kevin Owens, give me a hell yeah. Hell yeah. They did just that. They got a referee out there. Kevin Owens, Stone Cold, no holds barred happened at WrestleMania. And these guys went for a brawl. They brawled for 13 minutes. 13 minutes of just nonstop brawling. I thought this was crazy, with some of the stuff they did. Stone Cold got in a lot of the offense, yeah, but Kevin Owens launched Stone Cold into the crowd, I should say, out on the outside. And look, I thought that they were going to play it generally safe with Steve Austin. I wasn't expecting anything crazy. The craziest spot of the entire night was done by Stone Cold, by the way. Kevin Owens, when they're in the crowd fighting, does a suplex on Stone Cold and drops him on concrete. And this is not even like the carpet that they usually have out, to kind of like cushion the landing. This was concrete. They did a suplex on, like, Stone Cold's like 53 or whatever. And he got up just fine. It was crazy. But these two brawled. In the end, we all knew it was going to happen. Stone Cold Steve Austin kicked the ever-living out of Kevin Owens, stomped the mud hole. It was his night. Stone Cold Steve Austin. If I had told you in 2001 at WrestleMania X7 that in the year 2022, Stone Cold Steve Austin was still going to be main eventing WrestleMania, you'd have thought I was crazy. But lo and behold, it happened. Just like The Undertaker said, never say never in pro wrestling. Stone Cold Steve Austin closes out WrestleMania with a stunner on Owens, and then Byron Saxton comes in to celebrate with him, and he hits Byron Saxton with a stunner. That was great fun. WrestleMania, guys, as I take a drink of water. WrestleMania, overall, I thought that this show, say what you want about the wrestling, right? as a wrestling show, right? As a wrestling show. And interpret that however you might mean. For me, I interpret it as in-ring action. Was this like the greatest in-ring show ever? No. In-ring wise, Supercard of Honor is definitely a better show. That doesn't matter, though. WWE promised me the most stupendous WrestleMania of all time. WrestleMania, what everyone needs to understand, it's not necessarily about in-ring action. It is about spectacle. And they delivered tenfold on that tonight. I thought tonight was the most stupendous. Stupendous, again, the word stupendous, right? If they if they promised me the most stupendous WrestleMania of all time, I got it. Night 1, amazing. Tough act to follow for night 2. Really tough act to follow for night 2. Overall, if I had to rate this out of 10, I want to be generous and give it 9 stars. But that Ronda Rousey Charlotte Flair match was not good. 8.5 stars out of 10. And again, that's my opinion. You can agree, disagree. Let me know how you feel, by the way, in the comment section below. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. But 8.5 stars. Outside of that Ronda Rousey Charlotte Flair match, I think everything was really good. I would have given it outside of that match, you take that out, 9.5 stars. This is almost a perfect wrestling show. But that match, not good at all, guys. Not good. I was really mad about that. But yeah, WWE delivered. Again, week to week, TV, WWE is bad. We all agree. I think it's they're generally like not good at telling stories and all that stuff. But yeah. But the thing about WrestleMania is the reason I get excited as someone who loves in-ring action and storytelling and wrestling, the reason I get excited is I know WWE is going to put on a spectacle, and a great spectacle at that. And they did just that here at WrestleMania 38. Let me know what you guys thought about WrestleMania. Leave your ratings below out of 10. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and as always, keep it real.